You're watching ABC7 News at 7.
So cell service may come back quickly. However, it could be overwhelmed with the amount of people.
When you depend on your cell phone, what do you do when there's a massive outage like last month? Are there ways we can use our phones without service? Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Cohen, and welcome to ABC7. We'll have more on the great outage in a moment, but first, our top 7 stories at 7. What could inspire a local man from a well-known and respected Sarasota family to allegedly open fire on Main Street over the weekend? Police are not ruling out the incident was motivated by an investment gone wrong. Police say Saturday's shooting took place at a condo building on Main Street. Court records show the suspected shooter is involved in a lawsuit with making a 6-figure investment with a Sarasota business owner. Shots were fired into the unit right next to the one owned by the businessman. Defense attorney Derek Bird says the lost investment of this size could be at the core of the incident.
It's a pretty glaring motive as to want to seek retribution when you think that someone's basically stolen $300,000 from you.
And while Sarasota police say they are not ruling out the lawsuit as a motive, they are considering other possible reasons behind the shooting as the investigation continues. Police tonight are continuing the search for the man who robbed a Waffle House restaurant. Deputies say a man wearing a hooded sweatshirt and a ski mask entered the Waffle House near State Road 64 and I-75 yesterday around 5 p.m. An employee says the man pointed a gun at her and told her she had 5 seconds to get the money or he would shoot. She says he left with about $400 in cash. If you could help to find him by call Crime Stoppers at 866-634-TIPS. Manatee County deputies are also searching for a woman who escaped from a corrections facility in Bradenton. Silver Bean was near completing a 3-year sentence for a cocaine possession at Bradenton Bridge facility. The Manatee County Sheriff's Office says staff members at the facility know that she had escaped during a routine head count yesterday. Deputies are asking anyone with information on Bean's whereabouts to contact them. Your government at work. As Florida continues to deal with the opioid crisis, state corrections officials are moving ahead with plans to cut substance abuse services to make up for a shortfall in health care funding at the state prison system. The State Department of Corrections says services have to be cut to shift money to the health care program, where there is a $55 million shortfall. The program is designed to help prisoners successfully return to society once they have served their sentence.
A 40% cut in any program is a devastating cut, and it may mean elimination of some programs. We're also in this action eliminating reentry centers that are very important to step down inmates from institutions back into the community. And these programs are proven year after year, incredible success rates.
The 40% reduction in funding for substance abuse and mental health treatment for prisoners returning to their communities represents a $9.1 million reduction. With concussions being a huge concern in football, Lakewood Ranch High School is making an effort to make the game smarter and safer. The program is investing in brand new helmets and pads, hoped to decrease the likelihood of concussions. Lakewood Ranch High School head football coach is rolling out the new Smart Helmet. Each helmet is equipped with 5 sensors registering a player's every move. A couple of months ago, he was competing for an Olympic medal. Now, Chris Madzer, who just happens to be a friend of the producer of this broadcast, is Dancing with the Stars. Madzer became the first American athlete to win a medal in the men's single luge event earlier this year. Now he is showing off some fancy footwork this season on a special all-athletes edition of ABC's hit show.
When it comes to Dancing with the Stars, it is also terrifying because I have to do something that I am not proficient in, I have minimal training in, and it's in front of millions of people. So in that sense, yes, I also do get butterflies with Dancing with the Stars, but it's completely a different type of nervousness, where with luge, I'm very confident in my ability.
You can find the full interview on our website at mysuncoast.com. And you can watch Madser on Dancing with the Stars immediately following ABC7 at 7 tonight. New details of the hurricane evacuation for Venice. Sarasota County is releasing its plan for evacuating Venice in the event of a hurricane. The much anticipated plan will require busing residents out of Venice to other shelters in the county. There will be rally points, places people can go to get on buses and be taken to shelters.
They can drive a short distance to a rally point in the city and then be taken by bus to the evacuation center. They're more likely to go.
The plan will be put into effect before hurricanes come. Hurricane season begins on June 1st. Now let's head over to ABC7's Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan with the first alert forecast. Bob.
Good program there, Alan. We are looking at Casey Key webcam showing calm conditions earlier today. Those seas picking up a little bit this afternoon due to a west to southwesterly wind, and it looks as though we are going to see the winds switch around to more of a northeasterly direction beginning after midnight tonight, and that will bring in some slightly cooler temperatures to start the day off tomorrow. We'll look for lows into the mid-60s tonight, so that'll be nice. Should be a gorgeous sunset tonight. You saw a little wave action increasing there. With all the sunshine around, and the air quality index has gotten up there to 95 on the scale here. That's close to the unhealthy for sensitive people from Sarasota County, so we'll keep an eye on that. I think that number will be higher tomorrow again as a result of a lot of sunshine around. The humidity 44%. That's coming up just a little bit as the temperature is starting to fall. 82 degrees after a high of 90 degrees. Winds out of the northwest. Bit brisk at 15. The pressure rising ever so slightly. The forecast through this evening, clear skies and temperature is 72 by 11 o'clock tonight. Should be nice. We're not anticipating any rainfall. There's a few isolated showers inland. There's that frontal boundary that made its way through over the weekend. It's a weak frontal system and it continues to push off to the southeast. Behind it, high pressure is starting to build in. You can see one or two lone showers into the interior portions of our viewing area. Winds a bit brisk out on the islands now, still out of the north and northwest at 10 to 20 miles an hour. The extended forecast is calling for those winds to pick up again tomorrow out of the west-northwest. And it looks as though the high fire danger will stay with us, Alan. Low humidity, it's nice, but with that comes the potential for some fires.
And hopefully that won't be too much worse as we proceed during the spring.
That's right, and you know, as we're getting to mid-June, we're expecting the storms to come back into full swing. So I think after, say, June, we should be okay as far as the fire danger goes.
All right, thanks a lot, Bob. And still to come, when cell phone outages happen like it did last month, what can we do to avoid going into a full panic when we come back?
We're losing exotic animals on a daily basis, and the ones that we have in captivity are really the ambassadors for their wild counterparts. I'm Clayton Rozier from the Big Cat Habitat and Gulf Coast Sanctuary, housing over 150 exotic animals that needed a great home. And if you love animals, please help them. Do it locally. Support your local no-kill shelters, your local wild animal sanctuaries. Make a difference where you can.
Since 1972, Sleep King has provided quality mattresses and accessories at the best discounted prices available. Top brands like Simmons, Sealy, Serta, Beautyrest, iComfort, and more. With available free delivery, free financing, and free setup and removal. For a comfortable night's sleep with same-day delivery, even if we have to carry it on our backs. Trust Sleep King of Sarasota. Buy it today, sleep on it tonight.
Rugs as Art, Sarasota's only area rug superstore.
The following message is brought to you by Mesobook.com.
People who have been diagnosed with mesothelioma have many questions. How did I get this disease? What are my treatment options? How will this affect my loved ones? You need answers, which is why we offer a free book written by medical professionals who have treated mesothelioma.
Call toll-free at 1-800-777-1366 or go to Mesobook.com.
My credit score was not that great.
I didn't understand
what went into my credit score.
It was overwhelming.
Do you want to attain better credit health but don't know where to start? Credit Sesame can help by providing you a free credit score.
I love the app. It's so easy to use. It's like having your own financial coach.
Credit Sesame broke my credit score down into things that I understood, and it made me think, I can do this.
And the awesome thing about Credit Sesame, it's free.
It's 100% free. You don't need to go it alone. Get started today at creditsesame.com.
Download the all-new ABC7 First Alert Weather app now.
If you ever needed a reminder just how dependent we have become on these things, we got a huge reminder last month when Verizon service went down from here to Tampa. For many of us, it was an inconvenience, but as Dwayne Lindo reports, to others, it could be a matter of life and death. Dwayne.
Well, that's right, Alan. If you can remember, customers couldn't even call 911, but there can be ways to get around problems through a network outage or a natural disaster.
Hello? Hello?
It was just last month Verizon Wireless customers experienced an outage crippling many on the Suncoast.
Verizon cannot complete your call at this time. So then I waited 10 minutes and I tried it again, and that didn't work.
Verizon confirmed that it was a network issue and were working to fix the problem as quickly as possible. Even customers who tried to call 911 couldn't get through. And now with the upcoming hurricane season, it's a necessity for Kevin Angel to make sure he can keep in touch with family members.
We had a lot of supplies up here in Sarasota. We were fortunate, and being able to kind of relocate some of those things as an effort to get water down south and to get food down south, it was important to know what they need, where they were, and really what was being run out of.
And to do so, Angel and many others used an application called WhatsApp.
So downloaded it, had family down in Collier and Lee County download it, and we were able to communicate great while we had cell phone service. But essentially, as soon as those towers down there lost power, we couldn't communicate anymore.
Without cell service or Wi-Fi, you can't use the app, even when towers are not damaged or destroyed. The surge in call volume during a natural disaster makes phone communication almost impossible. Sarasota Emergency Services Director Ed McCrane says getting information out before the storm is of the utmost importance.
That way family members know where you are and they don't call here. It takes a lot of manpower and time if our operators are trying to figure out where people are.
But McCrane says in the event of an outage or disaster, there's one way to communicate a message when the network is overwhelmed.
Text messages is probably, when cell phone service is down, is probably the best method of trying to get a message out.
McCrane also stresses until power is restored, there are not too many devices out there that can get you a long-distance call after the infrastructure has been damaged.
One of the things that some people do is ham radios. You know, the amateur radio community has a way of putting up a quick antenna and being able to communicate as long as they have a power source.
Owner of Siesta Key Marina, Andrew Egebrecht, uses what's called handheld VHF units.
Are used on boats, and mariners use them throughout the world. They're completely independent. They use their own frequencies, similar to a CB radio.
A unit where operators can make calls, send data, text, and even communicate with other VHF handheld operators on specific radio frequency bands.
We've used it here. You know, last year we got hit pretty bad, the hurricane, even though it wasn't a direct hit, and we for days didn't have power or any service here, so we did use it. So we use the high power frequency channels like 71, 72, 73, something like that.
His company also utilizing satellite phones. These phones don't rely on cell towers or landlines. Instead, they communicate directly with satellites orbiting the Earth. But there's a caveat.
Satellite phones are a little bit more on the expensive side, and the plans themselves are a little bit more expensive. It's up to about $1 a minute.
But for Angel, it's about taking the necessary precautions beforehand in the event he can't make that important call.
Where we're going to be and where to find each other if we do have to evacuate. We know there's evacuation plans in advance. You know, there's a lot of maps out there that can tell you where to go. Stop signs have the evacuation routes, the numbers on them, the letters on them. So we kind of pre-plan a lot of that. Been here since birth. My son's been here since birth, so we really make sure that we have a plan going forward prior to hurricane season and as we approach it now.
Bottom line, making the necessary preparations before a network outage or natural disaster occurs.
Dwayne, thank you. There's never a service outage at the trapezoid. Can you hear me now?
Since 2004, Embracing Our Differences has used the power of art and education to promote diversity. One way it accomplishes this is through its annual outdoor exhibition of 45 billboard-sized works of art, each accompanied by an inspirational quote. Join us in creating a community that is inclusive for all, where differences are embraced and individuality is celebrated. We invite you to celebrate the voices and visions of diversity and inclusion at this year's exhibit at Sarasota's Island Park.
I just need a second.
Is your weight holding you back and affecting your health?
Did you see this? Your cousin had a heart attack.
Really?
Excess weight or obesity can be serious, but you can do something about it. Visit yourweightmatters.org. Download the free toolkit to prepare you to speak with a healthcare provider. Your weight does matter. Accept the challenge and take charge today. Visit yourweightmatters.org.
Dear parents, it's time for a pop quiz. What's the best kind of play for kids? Play that makes us think? Or helps us pretend? Or teaches us rules? Or to be creative? Actually, every kind of play is important because different kinds of play give us different kinds of skills. Help us mix up the ways we play. Okay, class dismissed. Now go play.
Zupan, part of the U.S. Paralympic rugby team. In my game, movement is everything. I get frustrated when my move is blocked, especially when that guy has no right to be there, even just for a minute. I love a challenge, but I don't like to play this game every day.
A message from the United Spinal Association.
Welcome back. A couple of weeks ago, I signed off like I do every day, saying that's all the time we have for this evening. Thanks for joining us, folks. Have a good night. Hopped into the car, and then this happened. Nothing. Tried to call the wife like I do every night on the way home, couldn't get through. I had no idea. Every Verizon customers from here to Tampa lost service until I pulled into a Publix and was able to hop onto Wi-Fi and call home using that. Turns out a lot of folks couldn't call 911. A lot of folks got nervous. What happened? Can it happen again? What can you do if your cell phone service is interrupted during a natural disaster or anything else? And joining us for more are Ed McCrane, Sarasota Emergency Management Chief, Jerry Zivick, ABC7 Consumer Watchdog, and joining us by Skype is Kate J of Verizon. And Kate, thanks for joining us tonight. I know it was probably not a fun night for you either. I don't know if we ever got a real full explanation about what happened that night, what caused such a massive outage.
Yeah, well, first, I'd just like to say thank you for allowing us the opportunity to be part of this conversation. First, before we get into the cause, I think just a very high-level overview of how wireless technology works. I think, most people are familiar with cell towers, right, or cell sites. You might be less familiar with our mobile switching centers, which we call our network switches. These are really the brains of our network. Okay, so your voice and data transmission, they come in, where from the cell sites that they're picked up on, they come in, and they are transmitted and then processed back out through our switches. So very important facilities, right? Those voice and data transmissions are, they go over fiber optic lines, okay? And then they're then handled in the switch and then go back out. So that within fractions of seconds, you're making that call or you're processing that data connection. So really, this is where wireless meets wireline. And I think a lot of people don't think about the wireline connection, right? But really, the only wireless part of the wireless network experience is on your device. So what happened on April 12th is that there was a fiber cut to our primary connection to our Tampa switch. Now, we have multiple redundancies built into our systems so that when something happens to that primary connection, we have a duplicate secondary connection. All the traffic is routed over it. There's no impact to the customer. Now, unfortunately, that evening, there was a fiber cut to the secondary connection. Now, this is very rare that you would have fiber cuts to both the primary and the secondary connections. Again, these are redundancies built in to avoid situations like these. But in this very rare instance, we did have fiber cuts to both connections so that there was an impact to service.
Okay, we're talking about somehow the actual fiber itself got cut. Do we know how? Was it, an accident? Was it, how did that happen?
Yeah, I don't have the specifics on these. There was no, there's no foul play, but it could be caused by any number of things. That could be severe weather, it could be maintenance happening, it could be construction. These things happen accidentally sometimes. Again, so rare that you would have fiber cuts to both that primary and that secondary connection, which happened in this instance.
Now, Ed, what happened here in Sarasota County when the 911 system went down, or at least that anybody who had Verizon's service on their cell phones could not call in to 911?
Yeah, the 911 system was fine. It didn't go down. The operators, some of them have Verizon phones as well, so it was noticed that there was an issue with them. So they quickly acted, notified the administrators, and the supervisors asked the sheriff's communications director, Caitlin Perez, to put out a social media message. They started notifying media so that they could let people know. The key was to get the public out there to be aware that if you do have, for that particular event, a Verizon device, you were not able to call 911, use a different service, get a friend, go to a neighbor's house or something if you need assistance.
Right. And Jerry, we've done stories about that. There are apps that you could have on your phone that utilize different cell phone service to make two-way messaging. But do a lot of people have those apps available to them?
No, I don't think a lot of people do have those apps, and I think it requires even more technological expertise than a lot of people have. What people can do sometimes, though, is the text band is still available, even though the cell band is not. That's one of the options as well. Or as we were talking in the green room, you want to have maybe 2 different providers in your house as well.
Right. Or texting wasn't working either. Well, but we are just getting warmed up on the conversation. We'll have much more on cell phone outages right after we check the first alert weather. So stay with us.
I'm Anne. I'm a scientist.
Recycling takes a team.
Why don't you let me and me help you out?
Everyone plays a part. Don't trash
I love taking stuff apart and building new things out of it.
what could be treasure.
Pal's my most advanced android. This is awesome. You haven't seen anything yet.
Give your cardboard box another life. Recycle.
A promise was made, a promise that hit the beaches of Normandy, a vow that captured Iwo Jima, a contract that weathered Tet, a pledge that stormed the desert in Iraq, an IOU that braved IEDs in Kandahar. A promise was made to America's veterans. DAV fights to keep that promise, so all veterans and their families get the benefits and support they earned. For help, visit DAV.org.
Since 1972, Sleep King has provided quality mattresses and accessories at the best discounted prices available. Top brands like Simmons, Sealy, Serta, Beautyrest, iComfort, and more. With available free delivery, free financing, and free setup and removal. For a comfortable night's sleep with same-day delivery, even if we have to carry it on our backs. Trust Sleep King of Sarasota. Buy it today, sleep on it tonight.
Everyone's buzzing about Suncoast View.
I like watching the Suncoast View.
I like the Suncoast View.
The cooking segments, I love the recipes. The theater segments are terrific.
Join Stephanie Roberts, Linda Carson, and special guests on Suncoast View for hot topics, everyday issues, celebrities, food, fashion, fitness, and everything in between. Nothing is off limits.
They're just fun.
For smart, fun talk in the afternoon, watch Suncoast View, weekdays at 4 on ABC7. Stay connected to your clients and new customers using ABC7 Digital Media Services. Our team of professionals provide a wide array of digital services to help you get the most out of your website. We specialize in building and helping you maintain the most effective digital solutions for your business. It's vital that your online presence stands out, so our experts will equip you with the best resources available. Trust ABC7 Digital Media Services to give you the right tools to grow your business.
Our conversation on cell phone outages continues right after we get a check on the first alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob.
Thanks, Alan. We had the clouds and a few showers over the weekend. We need the rainfall. And then all of a sudden Monday comes and sunshine returns and beautiful beach weather as well. You can see the waves picking up a little bit later in the afternoon as a result of the west to northwest wind, and that was a little bit brisk, up to 15 to 20 miles an hour at times here, and those winds will start to calm a little bit. Look at all the dry air in place now. This is the water vapor imagery showing dry air in the mid to upper levels of the atmosphere, and that creates a high fire danger too. And this is from the Florida Forestry Division, and you can see on the scale here, very high fire danger for Manatee, Sarasota, and into DeSoto counties, extreme into Charlotte County as well as into Lee County. That's for Tuesday, and that's not going to go away on Wednesday either. It'll be actually a little higher, I think, in some cases. Futurecasts not indicating any rainfall for us. That frontal boundary, which worked its way through, very active over the northern Bahamas. You can see that rainfall there kind of gathering, and then that front stays there through Tuesday. There's a chance for 1 or 2 lone showers in the afternoon into our interior counties, but not a lot. As a result of the dry air in place. Now that will start to moisten up a little bit, you guessed it, just before the weekend arrives. And this weekend, Mother's Day weekend, the big weekend for moms, and looks like we're going to see some rainfall around. We'll get to that in just a little bit. But as far as the radar picture goes, I mentioned those isolated showers. You see them popping up there, down just to the east of Fort Myers and all the way down to near Miami. Not having an impact on our weather. This looks like rain, but it's not. Again, military exercises going on. Just to the west of Pinellas County, looks like. 81 degrees in Jacksonville. It's 83 now. In Orlando, current temperature, Miami 81 with some clouds and showers nearby. That water temperature, 79 degrees. It's getting close to that 80-degree threshold, which the hurricanes need to have in order to develop and sustain themselves. We're not there quite yet here. 81 degrees in Sarasota, 85 though away from the sea breeze. In Mayaca City, 85 in Northport, and 80 in Venice. Bradenton, you're at 81 degrees. Well, currently at the Sarasota Bradenton Airport, it looks like this, 82. So it's come down after a high of 90 today. The dew point at 58, and the humidity is what's so nice, 44% at this point. The high 90, just 3 degrees shy of the record 93 set back in 1995. Well, you can see this trough of low pressure that has dropped down in the eastern third of the nation, and we're starting to see another storm system developing out in the central Rockies. For boaters tomorrow, winds will be out of the northeast to start the morning off 5 to 10 knots, and they'll pick up late in the afternoon and evening like we're seeing today. They'll switch around to the northwest again at 15 knots. Well, here's the 7-day forecast for you. Again, the high fire danger for tomorrow, Tuesday and Wednesday. 40% chance for scattered showers mainly in the afternoon on Friday. And then on Saturday, at 60% chance for rain as a result, again, of this system coming back as a warm front across the top of us on Saturday. Good chance for showers and even a few thunderstorms expected. And then Mom's Day, the rain chance at 60%. Alan will be back with his guests right after this. Stick around.
The thought of my sons growing up without me inspired me to quit smoking.
I talked to my doctors, and then I threw away all my cigarettes, ashtrays, and lighters.
I started exercising instead of smoking.
Letting my friends online know I was quitting kept me on track.
Staying away from alcohol when I was first quitting was key.
I kept on trying, learned something each time.
Do whatever it takes.
No matter how many times it takes.
We did it. You can too.
For free help, visit cdc.gov/tips.
I'm Deshauna Barber. In 2016, I was proud to win the title of Miss USA. What makes me just as proud is my service in the U.S. military. In the service, a soldier gains skills and learns values like discipline and leadership. That makes them an asset to any business that hires them. If you're an employer, on behalf of Coalition to Salute America's Heroes, remember to hire smart and bet on a vet. Visit saluteheroes.org or call this number to learn more.
Don't allow your weight to threaten your health or control your future. Excess weight or obesity can cause emotional and physical health risks. But you can take control. The Your Weight Matters campaign offers free resources and tips to help you measure and understand your weight. Take the Your Weight Matters Challenge. The free toolkit prepares you to speak with a healthcare provider about your weight. Your weight does matter. Take the challenge and take control today.
Coast Guard, we are taking on water.
The United States Coast Guard. They secure our ports and waterways, protect our environment, keep drugs away from our kids, and save lives. It's dangerous work. And in times of triumph or tragedy, the Coast Guard Foundation answers the call to support Coast Guard members and their families. Learn more at coastguardfoundation.org.
Invest in Kids is a $7.5 million project to build a new Boys and Girls Club in South Manatee County. I'm Caleb Grimes, and I was a club kid. It's where I learned important life lessons, leadership, integrity, responsibility, and baseball. Thousands of kids attend the Boys and Girls Clubs, and after years of use, their club is slowly falling apart. Help us invest in kids. Make your donation today.
Thank you.
Welcome back. So what do you do when there's a massive cell phone outage like we had last month? Joining us for more are Ed McCrane, Sarasota Emergency Management Chief, Jerry Zivick, our ABC7 Consumer Watchdog, and joining us by Skype is Kate J. of Verizon. Kate, obviously, as you said, situations like this where you have two instances where the fiber optic lines are cut do not happen very often. But what is Verizon trying to do to make sure that something like this does not happen again?
Well, I'll say it's probably obvious in how we talk about our network is that we really pride ourselves on delivering to our customers that reliability that they've come to expect of Verizon, and that, has been proven over time. And so when we have service interruptions like this recent one in the Tampa Bay area, it's, something we take very seriously. So what we are doing, obviously, our network team works day in and day out, and we're always looking for ways to improve our network. In this instance, our engineers, as soon as we were able to get the issue resolved, they are, they started looking at, how our local network is engineered so that we can ensure optimum performance and reliability, again, that customers come to expect from Verizon.
So have there actually been changes made since last month when this happened?
I don't have details on specific changes, but I do know that they started working on it immediately, and those processes will continue. It's an ongoing, changes will be made and ongoing work to be sure that we're delivering that network performance that we're known for day in and day out.
Ed, this kind of underscores modern day life. We depend on cell phone services in order to call in emergencies, and in many cases for first responders to respond to it. As we are sitting here, we have a massive internet outage by another company that is affecting neighboring counties' 911 services right now. What can emergency responders do in situations like this?
Well, it's very difficult. We obviously respond to calls from the public. If they can't call in, we don't receive that call, we don't know. There are multiple ways to get that help. If they have a fire station nearby and they can't make a phone call, get to that fire station can call on the radio, something like that. Or if it's a particular carrier that's down, go to a neighbor's house, see if they have a separate carrier. There's multiple ways to try to get that assistance. But if you're out there in the middle of nowhere and this happens, obviously we got a problem.
How dependent is Sarasota County Emergency Services and the 911 centers on having the internet up and active 24/7 and cell phone coverage to first responders out there?
Well, it's critical, but we have redundant systems as well. We have our 800 megahertz radio network. We can reach out even if we have an issue with a tower. They can go to site trunking. They've had issues before like that, where you can still communicate with those units in the field and get them to the location. If the unit's GPS or their laptop system doesn't work, they go back to reading the map and, getting out there. So it's important for our firefighters and law enforcement officers to not only rely on that technology, but to learn their area, learn their zone, learn the streets, become familiar with it. So if that does go down, you still can get to a call.
Jerry, when this happened, there were a lot of angry customers out there. Do customers have recourse in terms of their billing when something like this happens?
Well, in Hurricane Irma, all the mobile carriers gave a per diem, a pro rata, whatever the amount of their bill was, like, their bill divided by 30, they gave them that amount off, which is, a couple dollars. It depends on the amount of your bill. Some gave a few extra dollars. And so there is recourse, but it's not huge recourse. What always I find interesting is Verizon, not to pick on Verizon, because all the cell phone companies are doing well, has made billions upon billions of dollars in profits. And when there's a failure like this, it's not something that you can say, oh, we're looking into it. People rely upon this. Somebody could have died. They could actually show some loyalty back to the customer and give the consumer a little bit more than just a few dollars back.
Kate, let me ask you, what did, if anything, Verizon do to customers from the incident last month in terms of, I'm sure you got a lot of calls from a lot of angry folks.
Again, it's a very rare occurrence, but it is one that we take seriously. And if we have, customers with concerns can call into customer service, our customer service teams, and we'll address those issues on an individual basis.
Well, was there any plan out there to at least give customers at least a couple of dollars off their bill because of what happened that day?
It's something we would address with customers on an individual basis.
Ed, in the emergency management community, is this something that's game planned every single day in terms of what to do if there's massive power outages that affect internet service and cellular and even other even radios depend upon towers being up there to be able to communicate?
Yeah, I mean, there's procedures in the 911 dispatch center and each of the first responder agencies on how to deal with something like that. Like I said, got to go back to the old days of radio to radio communications instead of the big network. Also reading the map, going to people's houses without using that GPS technology in the vehicle. But yeah, there's backup procedures, redundant communications capability. For instance, our 911 center also has, if their lines that they normally use go down, there's a cache of cell phones that comes out. Each operator's given a cell phone. The disadvantage to that is they can't, take multiple calls, but they can take that one call at a time. We've also used our 861-5000 county contact center number and given that number out to people and put dispatchers over there. So there's a variety of things that we can do when something like this happens, but we're always hopeful that the system stays up, but you got to be ready just in case.
And Kate, wrapping up our conversation here, what do you want to communicate to Verizon customers around here who are really kind of remember that night, and it scared a lot of the people, as we said, that families could not communicate with each other, they could not call in, and even if you were out in the car driving someplace, not even really stop, get any kind of answers in terms of what's happening with your phone.
Sure, and I just want to reiterate again that we take this very seriously. We understand, we hear the concerns, and our network engineers really pride themselves on delivering the reliable coverage. Mr. McCrane has talked about redundancies. I've talked a little bit about that, but we build redundancies into our cellular network at every point. It's at our switches where we have backup batteries and backup generators to the batteries if we lose commercial power, which is, you mentioned, in severe weather instances and others, is a critical issue. We've got secure facilities, our switches, our cell sites, just the different fiber paths into the switches. There are multiple redundancies that we undertake so that we are providing that reliable connectivity. And that is an investment for us, that reliability, security, and connectivity. We've spent over $125 billion on our network since 2000, but we are committed to making that investment so that we can provide that service to our customers. Again, the outage that happened in the Tampa area recently is very rare, but certainly one that we take very seriously, and our network engineers are working to ensure that that doesn't happen again.
Jerry,
and all of
okay, no, I was going to ask Jerry. You said that one of the answers might be is if you have, carrier A for your cell phone service, have a different company at home. But you know how it works these days. A lot of folks package everything together because you get a better deal if you bundle.
It's no guarantee that it's going to work, and You also, sometimes that's not even necessary, because if the internet is working and your cell could be out, you could still do Wi-Fi to get your call out. So that's, you just need different options. I think we've talked about satellite phones. That's an option too. Actually, to me, this is a failure in technology. Why can't whoever regulates cell phones for our safety, you know, where these are regulated for safety, have some sort of emergency signal required to be built in where we could reach out to 911?
Okay, and Ed, in terms of, you know, we're coming up against hurricane season here right now. Anything new you're doing in terms of communications for this season?
Well, yes, we're doing a lot more. We do our press conferences twice a day, but we're going to actually be doing a live cut-in with our Access Sarasota television station, and offering that to the local media of things that are occurring now. Like when the winds reach 45 and we can't respond, we'll be cutting into that so that we can provide that information to the public. Do a lot more on social media as well.
Okay, we have to leave it there. FYI, you can watch past discussions on demand. They're available on Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and Roku. We want to thank all our guests for being here tonight. Ed McCrane is the Sarasota Emergency Management Chief. Jerry Zivic is our ABC7 watchdog, consumer watchdog. And joining us by Skype is Kate J. of Verizon. When we return, we'll be joined once again by Jerry Zivic in our for-your benefit segment on discussing how manufacturers of e-cigarettes are being warned for making their products look too kid-friendly. So stay with us.
Thank you. You got a king?
Go fish! In your face, in your face,
It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
For more than 100 years, American Humane Association has been teaching kids to be kind to animals. Those in our homes, on the farms, on the silver screen, and wildlife conservation, caring for the world's vanishing creatures. But we can't do it alone. Visit kindness100.org to find ways to teach kids how they can make a more caring, compassionate, and humane world for all of us.
Want the latest weather and traffic conditions wherever you go? Introducing ABC7's revolutionary new First Alert weather app. With our state-of-the-art new weather app, you get up-to-the-minute weather alerts, interactive radar maps, current conditions, 10-day forecasts, real-time traffic maps, and weather video from ABC7, all at your fingertips. And it's free. Just search Suncoast WX in the App Store and download onto all your devices today. Sponsored by Mr. Sparky.
I witnessed him have 2 heart attacks in ICU. He went through seizures.
We'd much rather have Aaron like this than dead. A lot of parents don't have that luxury.
He can't talk. He can't walk. This is a condition Aaron will live with for the rest of his life because he abused prescription pills.
Mind your meds. Learn more from the Partnership for Drug-Free Kids.
Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com, your guide to the foodie lifestyle. ABC7's own Chef Judy serves up her favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blogs, step-by-step videos, and Suncoast Restaurant Guide. You'll find it all at mysuncoast.com/dining.
Welcome back. Last week, federal regulators warned more than a dozen manufacturers, distributors, and retailers about making e-cigarette liquids resembling kid products like juice boxes or candy. And here to discuss this on Monday night instead of our regular Tuesday segment is ABC7's consumer watchdog, Jerry Zivic. This is incredible, Jerry, because if you look at just some of these names, One Mad Hit Juice Box, Vape Head Sour Smurf Sauce, Vanilla Cookies and Milk. I mean, it can't be more obvious that something like that is marketed to young people.
Absolutely. They're taking the same playbook Big Tobacco used in the 50s and 60s to hook young smokers for the future. They're trying to hook young vapors for the future. And this is terribly dangerous because if you're a child, especially a younger child, and your brain is hooked up with nicotine, it could cause you to die or severe brain damage. There's been the only study that I know of that was taking place between 2012 and 2015 found over 8,200 children under the age of 6 were taken to the emergency room because of vaping.
So what, if anything, is the Federal Trade Commission doing other than just basically sending nasty warnings?
Well, this is an area that's completely unregulated, and so they're doing the best they can to put some pressure in terms of advertising and how they're marketing. But nobody knows what's in these products. Nobody knows how much nicotine is in the products. Nobody knows how much other chemicals are in the products, and nobody really cares. I mean, there's a situation even with these cigarettes where they go up in smoke. I mean, people catch on fire. This is a very, very dangerous situation.
Well, who is trying to do something else? If the Federal Trade Commission is handcuffed by lack of regulation here, is there any kind of effort, let's say, in Congress to do something about it? After all, that's eventually what happened with the tobacco industry.
Well, it's going to follow the same path. What's going to happen, if it's going to take time, it's going to take a certain number of deaths in order for Congress to act, or there's going to be some sort of economic breaking point where it's going to cost our health system so much money to take care of these children that have been hurt by vaping that some action will be required.
Quick word of warning to parents.
Treat these like they're medicines. Put them up high away where nobody can touch them, and don't even have them in your house. That's the best of all possibilities.
Jerry, thank you very much. Jerry joins us every other Tuesday in our For Your Benefit segment. When we return, we'll have a final look at First Alert Weather, plus President Trump back on Twitter. What did he say about collusion between Democrats and Robert Mueller? Stay with us.
The following message is brought to you by Mesobook.com.
People who have been diagnosed with mesothelioma have many questions. How did I get this disease? What are my treatment options? How will this affect my loved ones? You need answers, which is why we offer a free book written by medical professionals who have treated mesothelioma.
Call toll-free at 1-800-777-1366 or go to Mesobook.com.
My credit score was not that great.
I didn't understand what went into my credit score. It was overwhelming.
Do you want to attain better credit health but don't know where to start? Credit Sesame can help by providing you a free credit score.
I love the app. It's so easy to use. It's like having your own financial coach. Credit Sesame broke my credit score down into things that I understood, and it made me think I can do this.
And the awesome thing about Credit Sesame, it's free.
It's 100% free.
You don't need to go it alone. Get started today at creditsesame.com.
Everything all right?
Actually, you know how Tom had knee surgery? Sure. We found out Brad's been taking his painkillers. And it turns out he's been doing it for a while.
Most people don't know what to say about drugs, but we do. Visit us at drugfree.org.
They are the greatest fighting force the world has ever seen. But what does it take to bridge the distance and keep them connected to family, home, and country? What does it take to strengthen our service members so they can be the greatest force for good in the world? It takes a force. Be a force behind the forces. Give today at force.uso.org.
Your primetime headlines are coming up in a moment, but right now let's get a final check on your First Alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob.
Thanks, Alan. On this Monday night, a pleasant one at that. The clouds and showers that moved over our area over the weekend have shifted to the east. When you know it, Monday starts the work week and sunshine pops back out in full force. The lower humidity comes in and that dry air is going to stick around a while. Your day planner for Tuesday looks good too. Temperatures will warm though, above average into the upper 80s to near 90 degrees once again. And our average high right around 85 degrees, so we'll be above that. And we're looking for lows in the mid 60s, so a little cooler. And it'll be nice to start the day off on Tuesday. Should be really nice as far as the humidity goes. Sea breeze has worked its way well inland. The east coast and west coast are meeting here in the central part of the state, and that may bring a few isolated showers in the mix. But here's your future cast showing that frontal boundary really rather active down to our south and east over the Bahamas there and just to the east of the Bahamas. This front eventually comes back northward as a warm front and brings with it a chance for showers. And guess what? It's over the weekend, unfortunately, it looks like again. And this one has a little bit better chance, I think, of bringing a little bit more widespread rain over a larger area. Also, a better chance for a few thunderstorms, too, I do believe, as Saturday and Sunday rolls along. Titan radar picture now depicting just a few scattered storms along the sea breeze front down to our south. And just to the east of Fort Myers, all that pushing off basically to the east very slowly. We're going to get into our rainy period. That usually doesn't begin, though, until mid-June on a regular basis. We'll have a few days before that, but mid-June is when it really goes, cranks up each and every day. For the most part, the air quality index is usually really quite nice, but lately it's not too good. It's 95, and that's just 5 points just south of the unhealthy for sensitive people, so keep that in mind. It's going to be a problem, it looks like, as we move through Tuesday afternoon again. Currently at the Sarasota Bradenton Airport, 82 degrees. Cindy Desmond sending that photo in today. Nice shot there at the jetty, and sunshine, and the relative humidity, 44%. Winds are still brisk out of the northwest at 15 miles an hour. For boaters, those winds will come down. They'll start out of the northeast in the morning after sunrise at 5 to 10 knots, and then we'll build back up to 10 to 15 knots late in the afternoon and evening. Seas will be running 2 feet with a moderate chop. That water temperature is warming up now, 79 degrees. Beaches will see a high right around average for this time of year. Well, here's the 7-day forecast for Tuesday. Not only is it not going to rain, but we are going to see a high fire problem tomorrow. So we'll be in the very high fire danger for Manatee and Sarasota County, so that's going to be a concern. Rain chance at 40% on Friday for late day storms, and then as we move into Saturday, the model here showing that front coming back northward as a warm front. You can see that quite clearly, the rain chance at 60%, and that begins mainly after 10 o'clock, continuing on through the afternoon. Really thickens up too Saturday night, so our rain chances will stay high again on into that day as well. And then on Mother's Day, we are expecting another chance for showers and some thunderstorms. Alan will be back with primetime headlines right after this.
Experience the Classical Music Celebration May 11th and 12th at the historic Sarasota Opera House. World-class musicians include guitar duo Charisma, currently touring with Andrea Bocelli. Tickets available online or by phone.
Hi, I'm Janelle Hale, founder and CEO of the National Breast Cancer Foundation. No one should face breast cancer alone. When I was diagnosed 36 years ago, there was no internet, and I had to make a decision with little information. Early detection saved my life. It could save yours too. To learn what every woman needs to know about breast cancer, visit nbcf.org/hope.
Performing on stage takes mental and physical preparation. But one thing I never thought to prepare for was cervical cancer. 91% of cervical cancers are caused by the human papillomavirus, or HPV. The good news is there are vaccines that can protect you or your children from cancer. I survived my cancer, but you can stop cancer before it starts. Talk to your doctor and go to thinkaboutthelink.org to learn more.
Tomorrow at 5 on ABC7's Good Morning Suncoast.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Webb.
And I'm Ray Collins. Northport City Commissioners will decide if the police should get a pay raise.
What this means for the future of the force there and how it could affect other departments in Sarasota County. Tomorrow on Good Morning Suncoast. John?
A big ridge of high pressure brings us a northwesterly wind. That's dry air and means higher fire danger. We'll talk about that.
Tomorrow at 5 on ABC7's Good Morning Suncoast. We're here for you.
My name is Luke Perry, and I am 1 million strong. I'm in the fight against colorectal cancer because I believe we can win it. Colon and rectal cancers are the second leading cause of cancer deaths among men and women in the U.S. Colon cancer is preventable. Know the risk factors and make sure to get screened. There are simple, take-home options available. Take control of your health. Screening for colon cancer isn't embarrassing. It can be life-saving. To find out more about your options, visit fightcrc.org.
Get all the local information you need before you leave home in the morning. Watch Good Morning Suncoast weekdays on ABC7 to get breaking news, plus first alert weather and traffic focused on where you live. ABC7, we're here for you.
Checking primetime headlines, President Trump and his legal team turning up the heat on special counsel Robert Mueller. The president tweeting the Democrats are behind the special counsel's Russia probe, even though Mueller was appointed by Trump's hand-picked deputy attorney general. This comes as his new lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, claims the president doesn't need to cooperate with investigators. ABC's Tara Palmieri has more from Washington.
The president calling for the Russia election meddling investigation to wrap up. Mr. Trump claims that a lingering probe into possible obstruction of justice and collusion between his campaign and Russia will give Democrats a political advantage in the midterm elections. Tweeting, "Is this phony witch hunt going to go even longer so it wrongfully impacts the midterm elections?" Which is what the Democrats always intended.
I think the point he's making is how ridiculous it is that we're still having this conversation and the depths to which this research has gone on and investigation has been conducted and still produced nothing.
President Trump's fiery tweets this morning in which he claimed that the investigation is losing credibility, echoing statements from his lawyer, Rudy Giuliani. As one of the newest additions to the legal team, Giuliani's been taking a tougher line with special counsel Robert Mueller.
The president said again on Friday that he wants to speak with Mueller, answer his questions. So you're prepared to make that happen?
Not after the way they've acted. I came into this case with the desire to do that, and they just keep convincing me not to do it.
Not dismissing the possibility that if the president does sit down with Mueller, he may invoke his right against self-incrimination.
What is the danger in answering Robert Mueller's
Because they're
questions?
trying to trap. You couldn't put a lawyer on this show who wants to keep his law license to tell you he should testify.
But it's only a trap if the president doesn't tell the truth.
And adding that the president doesn't need to comply if Mueller issues a subpoena.
I think it's becoming increasingly clearer that the strategy of the president's team is to attack Mueller's team, undermine Mueller, but nothing suggests that they're moving towards sitting down for an interview.
President Trump referred to Mueller's team as 13 angry Democrats and accused them of having conflicts of interest. The leaders of the team, Special Counsel Robert Mueller and Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein, are both registered Republicans. Tara Palmieri, ABC News, Washington.
Melania Trump is seeing a surge in support. A new CNN poll shows 57% of those asked have a favorable impression of the First Lady. That's up from 47% back in January. Among women, 54% now have a positive view of Mrs. Trump, while 30% view her unfavorably. Fox News contributor Oliver North will be the National Rifle Association's new president. North served as the Deputy Director of National Security under President Reagan. He's a retired Marine and was a central figure in the Iran-Contra affair of the 1990s, which dealt with the illegal sale of arms to Iran. He was found guilty on charges related to the scandal, but his conviction was overturned. Did you watch the Kentucky Derby this weekend? Maybe place a little bet on which horse you thought would win? An $18 bet paid off big time for a Texas woman on Saturday. The woman, whose identity has not yet been confirmed, placed a pick 5 bet on the Kentucky Derby. She chose the winning horse for 5 different races, winning the bet biggest prize at the Retama Park racetrack in Selma. Her $18 ticket wager secured her $1.2 million. That's almost as much as the $1.24 million the Derby's winner ownership team took home. That's all the time we have for this evening. I'm Alan Cohn.